Ian, Peggy, we're in your very unusual house here in Osgoode. Can you tell me how long ago you bought it and what attracted you to it?
We bought the house in February of 1990, and at the time we weren't even looking for a house, let alone a church, and a real estate agent just asked us to come by and have a look at this place. And I came in, I remember coming in the back door, walked into the living room and saw the winter light sort of shining through the stained glass windows and thought, well, this is really cool. And it just sort of struck me as an interesting place.
So you were on your own. What was the conversation like going back to your wife Peggy and saying, hey Peggy, you want to buy a church?
Well, Peggy wasn't even living here at the time. I was renting a house in Osgoode. Peggy was working in Whitby at the time. And her last words before heading back to Whitby was, don't you dare buy that house. So then I think it was during the following week I called her up and said every day I said, you know, I really think that's a neat place. Right. And the funny thing too was that we didn't really have that close of a look at it to see the ins and outs and the good and the bad of it. I think I was just so intrigued by the building that I just thought we should have it. It's for us. So
Peggy, you've lived here now how many years?
Well, it's actually almost 22, because we moved in. The day we moved in was the day that our oldest son was born. So we always can measure.
Crazy day, to say the least.
It wasn't very helpful.
Well, you were in labor.
That's right. And Graham was born over at Winchester. And my parents came down to help, and it was kind of like move the boxes in and just get them in the house. And, and then we'll sort it out after that. But it was kind of, the timing wasn't great on the closing time.
So, how did you finally agree, A, to move into a church, and B, how have you found it as a home for you and your two boys over the past 2 decades? Peggy, I guess.
Well, it's a very comfortable place to be. And if you're in that living room, because you can't see outside, it's like you're in another world. So it's a very calm place to be. Right. And so actually, one of the first things we did do, I have to tell you though, is to put a picture window in the kitchen, because the first winter we could not see out. We'd stand at the back door and say, it's snowing.
Right, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So that was the very first spring, I think, we put that picture window in. But the living room, you wouldn't want it any other way, because it's so calm and peaceful, and it's, it's airy and it's bright, and you could sit in there for a long time and read or do whatever.
So Ian was right.
I was
all
right.
those years ago.
That's right.
You are vindicated, Ian.
Yes, sort of. We've done a lot to the house since.
Yes.
Made lots of changes, although it was converted at the time and renovated at the time. We've added different things to the house since.
Like, you've done a really cool office for you upstairs at the front of the... what was that before?
That was the tower. It was the tower. There was supposed to be a bell in there, but they never did put one. And it needed a bit of work at the time. And I was working at home, and we had 2 young boys. So we had to I had to try and find a spot where I could work. So I decided to renovate that tower. Again, like a typical renovation job, it was a lot more work
than you thought?
Than we thought it was going to be. And we had to do some extra outside renovations to it to make it work. But it's a fantastic spot to work. Just to be able to look out on the surrounding countryside, but just the windows and how bright it is. And
I think the funniest thing about that room that's kind of funny is there was a fire down the road, and we had all the neighbors coming to look out our tower. If it was a lookout or something, and they wanted to see how extensive the fire was and what was burning. And so it's an office, but it's also a lookout tower. He can tell who's going down the road, and he can, oh, you were in town today, sort of thing, if he wants to look. But
so are the pair of you, I mean, that tower, for example, your office, you climb up 2 straight ladders. Peggy says you can do this while holding a full cup of coffee, which I think is amazing. And whatever, right. Is this your final home? Is this it? Or
I don't know. I really don't know.
That might be difficult to negotiate when you're older, right?
I mean, it would be a difficult house to give up, but it is relatively large property. Who knows? But for now, it hasn't really come up.
Right. Well, it's beautiful. It's been a pleasure meeting you guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.